Um, One thing I can talk about is, as you say, it's the 19th anniversary.
Okay.
Cathay started operations into Sri Lanka 19 years ago, in 1993. And we started operations twice a week with...
in
1993.
Okay.
We started operations 2 flights a week with a Lockheed TriStar aircraft, and those flights were via Bangkok, so Hong Kong, Bangkok, Colombo, Bangkok, Hong Kong. And since then, we've seen our capacity on the route grow. We've moved to the A330 aircraft, and now we operate a 777-300 aircraft. A330,
and then to?
And now we're a 777-300, so a Boeing, a B777. Sorry, it's a Boeing 777.
Okay, a Boeing.
Yeah.
Boeing?
A Boeing 777, so 777 aircraft. We've also increased frequency. We are now flying with a daily flight, 3 of which go via Bangkok, and then 4 go via Singapore.
So basically, what are your plans for expanding in Sri Lanka? Do you hope to move to Matala? What are your plans? Are you looking at any other long-term initiatives here?
We have a department in head office which continually reviews capacity in the network, and so periodically we will review the flights. And see how the demand is doing. I think at the moment we're quite happy with our current setup. The 777-300, which is the aircraft we operate at the moment, has 398 seats, 45 of which are business class, 353 economy, and it's that makes it one of the biggest capacity aircraft operating into Sri Lanka at the moment. In addition to that, we carry a lot of cargo in the aircraft belly, and that's another very important part of our business model here. Cathay, in particular, puts a lot of focus on the cargo market. We've recently invested in new freighters, which we serve markets from beyond Hong Kong. So these freighters fly Hong Kong to North America, Hong Kong to Europe, those kind of destinations. And so by increasing those flights, we can then serve more. We can serve more destinations through Hong Kong. So we'll carry the freight up to the passengers up to Hong Kong, and from Hong Kong we can connect onto these long-haul new freighters out.
In terms of cargo, how much of cargo do you actually bring into Sri Lanka or take out? Moving between Colombo, how much?
Well, the capacity of a 777, a full 777, is it's about the 18-ton mark, 18 tons.
Above the 18 ton.
But to be honest, it depends. So it'll vary.
That's coming into and going out of Colombo.
That's the capacity of the aircraft.
That's the capacity.
We frequently carry more than that. By capacity of the aircraft, I mean that's if you have a full load of passengers and a full load of cargo, that's what you'll carry. But frequently we can carry more freight as well.
What are your plans for Colombo in the future? And also completing 19 years, do you all have any special plans for this year or
We have.
anything?
I think the big celebration is going to be next year with the 20th.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be a good party, and I think we need to mark that one in style. In terms of what we're doing to mark our 19th anniversary, we've had several promotions in the market to mark that. We also have a promotion online with some prizes for people to win. Akushla can probably kind of give you the details, and all the details are on the website as well.
Right.
So we've done a few things to try and get
more interest.
Yeah, and to let people know that kind of this is we're very happy to be 19 years online in Sri Lanka. The other thing which is big news, which is coming to Sri Lanka, is that we very recently announced we're updating our regional business class. So we'll be refitting all of our 777-300 regional aircraft fleet, which is the aircraft type that comes into Sri Lanka, with a new regional business class, which is a wider seat. Refit, yeah.
Okay.
And this will
What kind of changes will be there?
The seats are wider. There's more leg room. In addition, we'll have
that's on business class, right?
On business class.
Okay.
We'll have audio visual on demand. So at the moment, or kind of going forward, it means that when you want to watch something, you can start it where you want, fast forward, play, rewind, that kind of thing, stop when you go to the bathroom, all the rest of it. So that'll be, I think I'm sure that'll be well received by the market. The aircraft will start to be refitted with that from January, so I expect we will see these new seats coming in.
Most probably next year.
Yeah, over the course of next year, and I think it'll be really good to see that.
And in terms of pricing, how are you all positioned?
I think we.
In view of obviously the oil prices surging, and how is that actually impacting on Cathay and its operations to Colombo?
Fuel price is uncomfortably high for the airline industry as a whole. I think what Cathay tries to do in terms of its pricing is we pitch for value. As an airline, we're a full-service carrier. We want to give passengers an excellent experience on board, and so because of that, we're not in to provide kind of no frills fares. Our fares include the service on board, they include the catering, all that kind of thing. So in that sense, we try and be competitive, but at the same time, the emphasis on providing value for money.
Due to the increasing fuel prices, would it have any kind of impact on your operations into Colombo?
At the moment, no. We're quite happy with our operations into Colombo. In the network, Cathay network, certainly the fuel price has had an impact. We recorded an interim loss for the first half of this year, and this is primarily on the basis of fuel being such a high component of our costs. the main thing which we've done to combat this as an airline, as a carrier, is we've accelerated the retirement of our 747 aircraft. So we used to have a fleet of 22 747s, passenger aircraft, and those aircraft are now being progressively retired.
Why is that?
Because they're an older generation of aircraft, they're less efficient in terms of fuel burn. So we have about 90 aircraft on order at the moment, which includes a lot of the newest generation 777-300 ER aircraft. And also we have a lot of the next generation A350 aircraft, which just are much more fuel efficient. And because of that, what we're doing is we're progressively replacing the 747s with the 777s on the long haul sectors.
So have you gone in for a full revamp of the entire? Have you retired all 22 and have you bought more?
We're still retiring them.
You're still in the process of retiring.
Yeah, we had 16 aircraft arriving with us, joining us this year, deliveries this year. And we've got another 16 aircraft deliveries next year. But the 747 is a big aircraft. So in terms of
16 aircraft joining this year.
16 aircraft joining this year, including freighters and passenger.
Okay.
So as we replace the 74s with the 777s, so we're doing it kind of on a. We don't want to just pull the 747s out because Cathay is very committed when they start flying to a market.
Mm-hmm.
We're there because we want it to be kind of a long-term addition to the network. We're not. We don't look to go in and then pull out. We like to be committed in the investments we make.
There was a time when Cathay actually pulled out of Colombo as well, especially during the terrorist outbreak and the attack on the airport. So basically, how would you look at that kind of situation and basically moving on?
And I think I'm very fortunate to be here now, in that we see that is not, and the country has kind of moved so much, has moved so much further since those times. It feels very safe as a country to be in, and touch wood, I trust those kind of times are past. So I don't see those kind of things causing problems in the future, I hope. I think it's a very optimistic time, it should be a very optimistic time for the country.
And also, would you all be expanding? Anything more you want to add on to that?
Sorry?
Anything more you want to add on to that?
No, I think that's probably...
Just also want to kind of know, since you're here and you're not, obviously you're not reducing your frequencies, are you? Would you be increasing would you be by any chance increasing your frequencies here?
Again, at the moment,
it has to go in for a review.
Yeah, it's constantly reviewed.
When is the review taking place?
The review is a continual process.
Okay.
We produce an operating plan every year, but the remark is kind of the plan is because it's continually reviewed. Mm-hmm. You will find that it's an organic thing, so you can't really say it's kind of it's reviewed at X and then that sets the plan. It just keeps changing. We'll keep adjusting as we see the demand change.
And also, what about the second airport in Sri Lanka opening up? What are your observations on that, and have you been approached by the authorities to commence operations from there?
There was a meeting a while ago which kind of kept us updated, which I think is really good. It's really valuable. I think
that's a meeting with authorities.
Yeah, all airlines are invited to just to keep us updated on the progress of the airport. I think it's really good to see that the government is providing capacity for the future. I think it's important that they continue to invest in the infrastructure around the airport as well. I think that's going to be key. I think at the moment Cathay is very happy with our operations into BIA, and so it'll be interesting to see how the traffic builds up in Matala. But at the moment, I think we're very happy with our operations into Colombo Airport.
So you will first study how the traffic builds up into Matala.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll see how things go there. But we're happy to stay with Colombo for now. Also refitted our long haul aircraft with new business class, and I think it'll be a really strong passenger proposition to have the new regional business class and then the new long haul business class. So for passengers travelling to Northeast Asia and America and into China, I think Cathay really should be the natural choice for them. For Colombo at the moment, it's we share the flights with Bangkok and Singapore, so it's quite difficult to kind of give a breakdown from that.
But approximately, would you be having details on that? What the load factor might be looking like? Is it growing? Is it increasing? Or do you think that it's a bit static?
It's been. I think competition is tough at the moment, which has had an impact, and I think there's a lot of potential for growth. Put it that way. I suppose I'm.
When you say competition is tough, meaning you're not looking too well in Colombo?
No, I think we're quite. I think if we had concerns, then we'd be kind of reviewing capacity. But to say we're quite happy with our current capacity. So.
Why did you have concerns?
I say we don't have concerns.
Oh, you don't have concerns. Sorry.
So I think we're quite happy with our current capacity. I think because we operate one of the largest aircraft in Sri Lanka, we have good potential to cater for group traffic.
And how much of inbound tourists are you bringing to Colombo?
To be honest, I don't have a breakdown of kind of component of how many come in on Cathay opposed to come in on other carriers.
Okay.
But Cathay does do quite a bit of work in promoting Colombo as a destination. We recently ran, I think it was 2 months ago, an article in an in-flight magazine on Sri Lanka. I think there is huge potential for the inbound tourism market, particularly from China.
What kind of statistics can we get?
Statistics.
In terms of, either load factor or even the number of tourists that you might be bringing into the country.
To be honest, it's difficult to classify exactly in terms of tourism. I'm sure kind of the government has its own surveys in terms of business arrivals and tourist advisors into.
So also you said you were strong on in terms of cargo and freight.
Yeah.
That's what you do more in Sri Lanka. When
cargo
you say you're
is
strong on that,
yeah,
is it strong
yeah.
in relation to the market or in relation to the whole of Cathay, or?
I would like to think both.
Okay.
I think cargo is particularly strong. It's a
Mhm.
particularly important part of our of the market for us in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
In the sense that it's proportionally probably a bigger share of our business here than it would be, say, if you looked at us network wide. I think because we have such a large capacity aircraft coming into Sri Lanka, I think also we're definitely one of the bigger players here in terms of the cargo market. So cargo is very important to us.
So it's not just passenger, but you're mostly focused on cargo in Sri Lanka as well.
Yeah, definitely cargo is very important. I think there are a lot of airlines which will focus on the passenger side of things, and then will support with cargo. But I think Cathay's view is very much we've had a lot of investment in our freighter fleet. We've recently invested several billion Hong Kong dollars in building a new cargo terminal in Hong Kong. I think I'm right in saying that Hong Kong is now the largest international cargo hub in the world. So cargo is very important for Cathay, but even on that basis, cargo is especially important, I think, for Cathay in Sri Lanka. If that helps answer the question a little bit. And our main freight business concentrates around.
Would you call them cargo carriers, by the way?
Freighters.
Freighters.